There's lots of things you can do to be a better feminist as a man, but here's a simple one. Don't interrupt women.
Is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to look
we like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind. There's lots of things you can do to be a better feminist as a man, but here's a simple one. Don't interrupt women.
Is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to
We like to say people kind.
Most chromosome abnormalities occur as an accident in the egg or sperm. In these cases, the abnormality is present in every cell of the body. Some abnormalities, however, happen after conception.
Oh, tell me about your book.
Well, it's about feminism. I just want women to feel good.
I got it here. Girl logic. What is the difference between the genius and the absurdity? What's the difference between girl logic and boy logic? Because I don't know.
I can't tell you exactly the way men think, because I think if I did that, I'd be like, slow your roll. This book is about me sort of noticing that women are always called crazy, psychopath, like, oh, she's insane. We always write off women as crazy. And women are expected to be so many things to so many people at once. And it's these expectations that sort of we have to take into account all of this. And we try to be so many things at once. And we have to take in so much stimuli to process all this. So our logic is sort of...
A few moments later.
Don't follow me.
Of course. Yeah.
We came out of this show last night, this like girls' night in show, and everybody was feeling great. We walk outside, and this like dude walks up, was like, "Anybody got a lighter?" You're walking into a group of 5 girls having a lively conversation. You put yourself in the middle, and I walked away. I go, "Ew, I'm not doing that." And he like started chirping at me. "What's your problem? Who has a lighter?" And my fucking dumb friends were like, "I think I do, sir." And I'm like, "This is not the time to demonstrate how compassionate you are. Don't give him a lighter." Like, there's no reason to go anywhere else. You're obviously a crazy person.
But that's another incident.
This book is about me sort of noticing that women are always called crazy, psychopath, psycho bitch, like, oh, she's insane. We always write off women as crazy. Don't give them a lighter. Like, there's no reason to go anywhere else. You're obviously a crazy person.
What the? Let's talk about...
Hey everybody, how you doing? You're listening to the That's Mid's a podcast for what is it, Sunday, February 25th, 2018. How you doing? How's everybody doing? What you just witnessed there was why am I talking about a hick voice? Stop it. What you just listened to was a little video compilation that I'm going to play further on. Was one of my favorite little videos, or little subscriber people, or YouTuber, whatever you want to call them, which is Rekt Feminist videos, which is, it's pretty much in the title is pretty much self-explanatory. So yeah, this is a new one that just came out. So I just wanted to share that with you, that little snippet there. But yeah, that little Eliza Schlesinger thing when she was on Joe Rogan, the one that you just heard there, the whole, like, it's talking about females just being dismissed as crazy whenever they talk about their logic, and yet she just did the exact same thing to that dude. So, Eliza Schlesinger, you're hot and stupid and not funny, but what are you gonna do? Hot people really aren't typically that funny, but what can you do? Just another thing, hot people get the privilege of easy dick and easy pussy, and funny people and interesting people and intelligent people, they get the luxury of being aware. While the hot people bang and have no consequences and stay stupid. Stupid and entitled. Like Eliza Schlesinger. Ugh. What a dumb hole. Ugh. What a stupid whole thing that was. But yeah, this is going to be a little snippet more of from the Rekt Feminist video. This is Jerry Seinfeld being interviewed about the whole Me Too movement and Louis C.K. and blah, blah, blah. So this is I found it very interesting. And then we're going to get into the whole, what was it? The promotional girls in the past few weeks, months or so, being attacked by feminists and saying it's objectification. They're trying to ban it, and which I think to some degree they did. So on and so forth in Australia, I think, alone. I don't know. But yeah, just gonna listen to that later on. But first, let's listen to a lady interview Jerry Seinfeld about the Me Too movement.
About serious things, then. The Me Too campaign.
Yes.
What's wrong with the industry? I mean, are you asking yourself how come all of this is coming?
It's not the industry, honey. It's the whole gender. It's men and women. This is about men and women.
You just called me honey.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you guys witness the patriarchy oppressing that woman right there? Rape culture. That woman's going to be raped because he called her honey. I see how it is. He believes that he owns her because of that. See how in tune with reality I am?
Because you got to get with this. It's not show business. This is global.
Did you see any of it? Because everyone's saying it was all around and everyone knew about it, but then...
Well, which show? Who are we talking about?
Just...
Jerry Seinfeld just said, this is men and women, not the Hollywood industry. It's global. Meaning, men and women treat each other like crap globally. So, segregating this to Hollywood is a little bit absurd. Yeah.
Things that were going on around in studios and
No,
networks.
honestly, I've never seen during the years when I worked on my show, and even in the nightclubs, I mean, a lot of the comedians, there was a lot of activity, let's call it, frivolity, comedians and waitresses and everybody. I mean, men and women, chase after each other, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Now, I've never...
Oh, see, I love how he called her out. Because if you guys don't know the interview, just look it up. I mean, just Jerry Seinfeld gets interviewed by some dumb hole. That's racist. No. But yeah, she probably just said that just to diffuse the argument or to diffuse the situation. But when he said, so what he said, and he says, right, and she has just a blank look, and he goes, right, and it killed. You can see it in her eyes where she just hated to even fake that she even agreed with it. Yeah, right. Let's hear this one more time because it's hilarious.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Comedians and waitresses and everybody. I mean, men and women, chase after each other, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Now, I've never seen it done in a way that was that I thought that's not right.
So you're
what
surprised
that guy's doing.
So you're surprised with all this Me Too campaign and things that are coming out now?
No, I'm not surprised. But you asked me if I'd seen it,
Okay.
so I haven't.
One of them is also actually your friend or someone you worked with, Louis C.K.
Mm-hmm. That's terrible. I mean, these behaviors themselves don't even make sense sexually. It's like, I don't even understand why they would do that.
And is it something that will cause you not to listen to him anymore, not to listen to his material, think it's right that they took him
Well,
off
he
air?
stopped. He stopped working. The problem for him will be no one will ever look at him without thinking about that. And he knows that. I don't understand the syndrome. Harvey, the showering. What fun is it to shower for somebody? I don't even understand it. Who wants to watch anybody shower? Where's the excitement of that?
Only if it's on a movie set, yeah.
It's a whole world of sexuality that's kind of caught people by surprise. It's like, you're doing what? This is a horrible story. It's not even a good story.
PC gone mad. Formula One bans grid girls, and grid girls blame feminists.
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
All right, and then you're gonna hear one of those ladies that were one of those showgirl, band, whatever, promo girl things. Whatever the title is exactly. But yeah, you're going to listen to her little snippet. So it's going to be very interesting. So yeah, here's a little snippet about people attacking her in her career and her profession, basically, which affects a lot of people, especially mainly women. So there you go. Let's listen to her.
Jackson. I'm a racing driver, TV presenter, and motoring journalist, for those that do not know me. I have been on several radio stations this morning and yesterday evening speaking about grid girls. And much to a few people's surprise, I am actually in favour of grid girls. And the reason for that is because I believe that the modern woman should have a choice, and that's certainly the direction that we were going in, and I think this is a backward step. And the reason why I think it's a backward step is because we are taking the choice away from these women. So these women, girls who have chosen to be grid girls are now having that choice taken away from them. And really, the idea of feminism, if you want to call it that, is that women have the choice to be who and what they want to be without judgment. Least of all judgment from other women. And yes, it is a glamorous sport, and therefore glamorous women are involved, but also glamorous men should be invited, and that would be true equality. I believe that if there were men and women as grid people, then it would be true equality. But I definitely don't think it's a good idea to completely remove them. And the idea that women are being objectified is also a ridiculous notion, because okay, people like looking at them, men like looking at them, some of the girls, actually a lot of the girls like looking at them. People like beautiful people, whether they are male or female. And the women that are doing it do not feel objectified. If they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of having choice. And beautiful people are going to sell products the world over. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Look at perfume adverts, look at clothing adverts, look at watch adverts. Every kind of advert you can think of almost has beautiful people in it. It's just the way the world works. And also the grid girls have got advertising on them. And just like my race suit is covered in my sponsors. So Denso was my title sponsor last year. And so my race suit is covered in sponsorship, sponsor stickers, sponsor embroidered patches, so that sponsors can get their exposure in motorsport. And it's business. And what were the other points? So, inspiring the future generation. So I believe that we should be inspiring the future generation, and the future generation should know that they can choose. That's the whole point. You can choose, girls. You can choose whether you want to be a doctor or a nurse or an engineer or a grid girl or a racing driver or a leader of a business, or perhaps you don't want to work. Perhaps you would like to be a full-time mother and housewife. There is no judgment. That's the whole point. There is no judgment, and there should be a choice for all women and all girls to be who and what they want to be. And that's why I'm in favour of grid girls.
Yeah, interesting. So, that's why I titled this Modern Feminists Hate Attractive Women. Because, you know, the notion, you know, like the mildly opposite notion and all that stuff that, you know, feminists are unattractive, blah, blah, blah. I go to college. I have seen a lot. I've seen no, not a lot, but I've seen some attractive feminists. So you know, it's a stupid notion to make. It's funny and hilarious, but it's slanderous. But I've met attractive feminists, modern feminists, but it's incredibly rare. But they all have the they all have the same mindset, and which is kind of the scary part about it. And it's not the whole. It's not just the whole we want equality. It's the contradiction of their equalities. You know, they talk about domestic violence, but they only talk about men violence against women. And if they do talk about violence against men, it's almost always, pretty much always about men beating women or men. So, you know, I can, you know, beat this dead horse yet again. But yeah, the point is that they have the same rhetoric. And it's just how it is. It's just, it never ends. You think, after 10, 15 years. Oh, hell, just a couple years. Let's give it a higher standard here. A couple years, in the 4 years or so that I've been going to college, you think that the rhetoric would change just a little bit, evolve just a little bit, and then it stayed the same. It's the same, white male, patriarchal, blah, 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 women oppressed, people, LGBTQ are oppressed, blah, 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 that whole thing. And, it's so it's interesting how something like a grid girl, the whole holding up the banners or whatever they want to do during the UFC fights and stuff, you'd think that would be something that feminists wouldn't attack as heavily as they had. But but I think this is in Australia, which Australia is you think America or England's pretty bad. Damn, Australia and Canada seem like to be like the leaders of this really big pussy whipped, like no masculinity agenda type filled thing. But Australia is pretty bad. They're trying to take away grid girls, and it seems like they're getting to be pretty successful in that. But this is another Australia. This is with Piers Morgan. Even though I don't really like the guy that much, but he seems to be pretty. He seems to be the type of guy that doesn't stick to a political party agenda type of thing as much. Because, he's very anti-gun, he's, English and all that stuff, or European, somewhere from there, probably English, or I don't know. But he doesn't seem to be totally liberal and totally uber left and all that stuff. So, with this whole thing, you'll see why I say that, because he's kind of defending the whole ring girl, whatever you want to call the position that the professional position that they have, but yeah, this is the Good Morning Britain, so it is England. So Good Morning Britain, Good Morning America knockoff type of thing. So this is about the ring girl row developing story. Boxing promoter Frank Warren says he is defiant about keeping ring girls. So yeah, let's see what this Good Morning Britain has in store.
You are a boxing ring girl,
yes,
right? You've heard what Frank had to say. How do you feel? People say you're being objectified. It's demeaning.
I have never felt that in the 5 years that I've worked in this industry. If I'm honest, in the past week, I've probably received some of the worst comments from women applauding this ban than I have ever received in that industry.
What sort of comments?
So from feminists?
From women calling themselves feminists. They're not empowering us or supporting us, but they have come out with some derogatory comments. They're insulting our intelligence based on our occupation. They're calling us prostitutes online, which is, it's very upsetting and insulting.
I don't think...
So feminists are calling these women prostitutes for doing what they do. So, wouldn't they call that slut-shaming? What the feminists are so against slut-shaming, female shaming, whatever, type of insert gender liberal fucking norm haiku, whatever thing. Wouldn't that, that's, and this is the problem. I know it's, if you, this is going to sound condescending, but fuck it. I gladly accept the fact that I'm a dope, and then you shouldn't take my garbage seriously. But if you look at big movements and groups and all that stuff, you can at least see some hypocrisy, some contradiction, some, there's always going to be a rotten apple in the batch or bunch or whatever the hell you want to call it. But with certain things, it's a little bit different, kind of, to a degree. If you look at American history, the whole all men created equal, even though women couldn't vote, and and black people were slaves. The whole typical, normal rhetoric that you hear all the time. But still, that is a contradiction. That is a contradiction. So, when it comes to something like modern feminism, you see contradictions like, don't slut shame women. It's awful. Don't slut shame women. It's awful to slut shame women. And then when women, attractive women mainly, do things to where attractive women do things to where only attractive women can do, which is be showgirls or promotional girls or ring girls or all that stuff. The modern feminists, because most of them are ugly. Not all of them, of course, because I've met some gorgeous third-wave feminists, which, apart from their internal ugliness, they do have external beauty, but that is neither here or there. But they all tend to seem to hate the same thing, which is not exploiting women, but just beautiful women in general. So this is just yet another example of the contradictions and the hypocrisies of the third wave feminist movement. So let's go ahead here.
I think that being a glamorous adornment is a bad thing. I'm a business development consultant in the day, and I do this for fun and as a hobby. And feminists are going on and on and on about how it's degrading to women. The women that are actually doing it don't feel degraded, and we're not being given the choice to decide now whether we want to do it or not.
And when you see the likes of Kim Kardashian posting topless selfies, and all the same feminists attacking you say, well, this is wonderful, liberating feminist empowerment. Is there a hypocrisy there?
I think there is, and I wore this on my 30th birthday, and I've worn it on the darts. There is no difference what I wear on a night out to what I wear on the darts. I just get paid well for it.
Sam, you are a so-called grid girl.
Yes, I am, yes.
So have you lost employment?
Not necessarily. I mean, the F1 job, yes, we have lost. Unfortunately, that is now no longer.
How do you feel about
that? Disappointed, to be honest. I feel that, like you say, the so-called feminist, I don't believe they can call themselves feminists, because to be a feminist, the whole idea is to empower women to make their own choices and do what they want to do. And if you're sat there saying, as a feminist, I don't think you should do this, then actually you're not letting women make their own choices.
I could not agree more.
That is not what feminism actually is. Feminism is not about that. Feminism is about...
Oh, God, here we go. The same cliche dog shit. Feminism is about equality between the genders. But yet, this is, again, this is what the modern feminists do not get, is that there's going to be a fucking person, chick, dude, doesn't matter. It's always the same type of thing. It's all about equality between the genders. But yet, the modern feminists, or the people that spew this type of garbage, do not see the contradiction or the point. Just not even the point. Just the point. You don't see the red flag. It's, if Jesus Christ. I mean, if modern feminists try to defend their ideology like it was a dating resume, they date nothing but abusive pieces of garbage, because their radar for detecting dog shit stinks, and little on their own. I mean, it's just the lack of self-critique is just it's just insane. It's just so massive and so depressing. Self-awareness is completely and utterly absent right now. It's just I have to be redundant with this because again. But here, let's hear another person talk about what modern feminism really is all about.
Equality, it's about treating men and women the same. This is clearly a situation in which women are treated differently to men. Some jobs become obsolete in the name of progress. That is just a fact. And also, in the name of progress, I mean, we celebrated suffrage this week, 100 years of women women getting the vote. When women were fighting, when the suffragettes were trying to get votes for women, there were women queuing up to say women were not intelligent enough to vote. So there will always be turkeys voting for Christmas.
Okay, let's go to Jade. You're a snooker walk-on girl. You're good friends with Jimmy White, the snooker champion. What do you feel about this debate?
I just think it's really disappointing because, like the girls say, we're getting judged on our job as a whole, and people think that we're not intelligent. They think we're just being placed as an object. It's far from the truth.
Isn't the concern that because you're there because you're glamorous and beautiful, that you are judged to only be glamorous and beautiful, and actually it doesn't acknowledge all
What's
the
wrong
other
with
skills.
that? Models
All the other skills.
Naomi
Sorry,
Campbell is
Piers,
only
I was
judged to
actually
be
asking
beautiful.
the women.
But isn't that our free will to do so? You know, but there's so many women, so many successful women who are business women. I'm a businesswoman. There's women that are barristers, judges, sports women, but not everyone aspires to be that level. Some men do not aspire to be that level. What this is about is our freedom of choice in a democratic society being taken away from us.
I don't see how any woman, Beverly, can listen, honestly, to these four young ladies and not think they're perfectly in control of what they're doing.
This is not about the
their
individuals,
decisions.
Piers. You're doing
Why
it
aren't they
because-
entitled to have the right to do their jobs?
Of course it's about the individuals. They're losing their living.
They can't do the same thing.
Sorry, they're losing their jobs, so how can it not be about us about them?
It isn't me. What happens in these debates, which are about women being given opportunities, being not treated as sex objects,
you're taking away their
about
living.
giving the next generation of girls something to aspire to be. I do not know a mother of daughters who wants their daughter to grow up to just be judged for what they look like.
Whole.
These might all be fabulously intelligent women. But in that particular environment, there is no sense in which they are able to display those particular.
Yeah, Piers Morgan said it right. That's a very patronizing statement. Who'd have thought, coming from a fucking feminist?
Talents. They are there purely because of what they look like.
There is an argument. This has become almost a class war. I think there are lots of mothers out there that would be very proud of their daughters, actually.
I'm sure their mothers are proud of them.
I'm sure they're proud of them. But what happens in these debates is the bigger picture. So let's say the bosses from F1. I mean, it's very brave of Frank to come in here because most of the men in this debate are silent. And what happens is women are encouraged to slug it out in public with other women, which.
Most of the men in these debates are silent. I wonder why. Be labeled as sexist and they'll probably lose their job. But you will not mention that, will you?
Is not what feminism is about at all. That's what we're doing here. It's not about me versus them.
Equality.
It is. So have some boy
about choices.
boys,
and if it's their choice, you're taking away their choice.
They have no choice, Frank. Okay, so if they rocked up to your match and said, I'm going to wear jogging pants and a hooded top, how would you feel about that? Would you give them the choice?
Why should they wear? Actually, we've had girls dressed up.
They have no choice.
Sorry.
Okay, wait. Peace out. We're all here to have a friendly debate. You were a model. You modelled for years, right? What is the difference between you exercising your right to model in a sexy...
All right, so the feminist hole that was bitching and crying and doing all this, female oppression, blah, blah, blah. She was actually a model. Piers Morgan's asking her a question about you were actually a model, so let's hear her reaction.
Glamorous way, and these young ladies doing the same thing.
There are male models. It's
that
simple.
Do you know what? I respect all of you. I respect all of you for coming in. But I'm afraid we have to leave it.
Monaco used them in F1. British touring cars have used them. The British touring cars.
Why do we not have men and women in here? Because nobody's crying for the men who've lost their jobs. Because guess what? There are no men who have lost their jobs.
Apart from the men that Frank put out of work when he introduced the women because he realised that he was in the ring.
Boobs and bras in his ring.
Listen, okay, it's a good debate. I think the whole point of feminism, if I may, as a man, have a view on feminism, I think I can because I'm a feminist, is that women, I thought, should be entitled to make their own choices.
What choices do they have in that environment?
Either to work in it or not. That is the choice they make.
Let me tell you, grid girl.
What kind of choice do those women have? This dumb hole, really? What type of choice do these women have? That is some old hag that lost her fucking place as the hot chick out of the business because she's at least, 40? 42? Because obviously she's not going to be in the model business anymore. I mean, very few people are in the modeling business when they're old, especially when you're in your 40s. So, I don't know. Maybe it was just yet again another example of a hot person, not developing their personality, not developing themselves internally, and just using the world externally. Which I have to say, a lot of women get stuck in that. Guys do too, blah, blah, yeah. But it's a totally different category, or a totally different situation for ladies. It's a totally different thing. I think women can get sucked into way more than guys. But yeah, I think that might potentially be a situation where this old lady got too stuck into the I'm old and out of the business now, and now I'm going to take vengeance on us. So yeah, she just seems like this old bitter bitch that's totally taking her vengeance out on the young hot chicks nowadays. Totally fucking thinks. Oh God. What choice did they have to say to be in it or not? Let's hear this one more time.
I think the whole point of feminism, if I may, as a man, have a view on feminism, I think I can because I'm a feminist, is that women, I thought, should be entitled to make their own choices.
What choices do they have in that environment?
Either to work in it or not. That is the choice they make.
Let me tell you, grid girls at F1, they didn't have any genuine choice. For a start,
they were asked if they wanted to do it, and they get paid a salary to do it.
In that environment.
What are you talking about?
They have no choice as to what they're going to wear, where they're going to stand, what they're going to say.
But they don't have to do it, Beverly. They don't have to do it. I get told to come in every day and wear a suit and put makeup on my face. I don't have to do it.
But men have
right? I don't have to do it. I can just go and do something else. They can all go and do something else. They do it because they want to do it. And now people like you want to stop them doing what they want to do. And I think it's unfair. Feminism means they should be able to be grid girls, girls, dark girls.
There is no equality.
And the GMV viewers agree with me. Let's look at the poll again.
Well, I did my own Twitter poll yesterday, and it came up.
GMB.
There we are. Where are we? 86%.
The people
of the British public have spoken, and they say, let them carry on.
Yeah. So, out of a few thousand, 3,000, whatever. What was it? The Good Morning Britain thing was question was, do you think promotional models at sports events such as grid girls should be banned? Out of 3,126 votes in 21 hours left, whatever. So in 3 hours, out of 3,126 votes, 86% said no. The grid girls should not be banned. 14% are ugly, delusional feminists. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna get to the last little segment here of this little goofy, stupid podcast here, and that's the whole Me Too movement. But it's more so the contradictions of the Me Too movement. But yeah, just Bill Maher's take on the whole distraction deniers. This is one brilliant example of where feminists are just yet again wrong, and so let's get into it. Yeah, I can't talk better than Bill Maher. You see me stumbling and mumbling through the whole thing, but yeah, here we go.
Finally, new rule in 2018, it's more important than ever that we all keep laughing. The nothing is funny people are trying to take over the world, and we can't let them. Which is why I recently posted this picture of me pulling an Al Franken on a sleeping Bob Saget. It's a joke about another joke. So I'm just saying here at the beginning of the year, if something like this is too rough for you, don't watch. Now, I'm also going to admit something right here up front that may influence what I'm about to say tonight. I have a penis. And while I admit that having one does predispose a human to being aggressive and oversexed, I don't concede that it makes me automatically wrong about everything. And I say that as a true supporter of the Me Too movement. I even wore black during the Golden Globes. I was home watching TV, but still, I wore black. But I was also mourning the ability to think rationally. I'm down with Me Too. I'm not down with me-carthyism. Something is way off when Senator Kirsten Gillibrand can go unchallenged saying, when we start having to talk about the differences between sexual harassment and sexual assault and unwanted groping, you are having the wrong conversation. Can't we just be having an additional conversation? Can we...
Yeah, and there's something creepy about that. To where they just want to have full control over the whole Me Too movement. Something very tribal and creepy about that shit. So they don't want no confrontation, they don't want no opposition, they don't want no any opposing views, and they don't want any male views, especially. So there you go.
Can we only have one thought now? I get it that Al Franken had to become roadkill on the zero-tolerance highway. A highway, it seems, only Democrats have to drive on.
Bill Maher pandering to his tribe.
But do liberals really want to become the distinction deniers? The people who can't tell or don't want to see a difference between assault in a van and a back rub by the water cooler? Masturbation is normal and healthy, but not in the park. Giving up on the idea that even bad things have degrees? That is as dumb as embracing the idea of alternative facts.
Feminist poison right there.
I get it when Trump's side doesn't want to talk. He only knows 88 words. But we are supposed to be the conversation people. Justice requires weighing things. That's why Lady Justice is holding a scale and not a sawed-off shotgun. Senator Gillibrand went on to say, you need to draw a line in the sand and say none of it is okay. Yes, agreed. But we can't walk and chew gum anymore? We can't agree that groping and rape are both unacceptable? And one is worse? Apparently not.
I disagree.
Matt Damon said, there's a difference between patting someone on the butt and rape or child molestation, right? Liberal Twitter responded, no, there isn't, Jason, born yesterday.
Matt Damon literally tweeted, there's a difference between patting someone on the butt and rape or child molestation, right? And people actually disagreed with him. Oh, people actually disagreed with that. There's a difference. I guess they took it in a way to where it's there's a difference between patting on someone on the butt and rape and child molestation, as in patting on someone on the butt is okay, but rape and child molestation, that's bad, right? Patting someone on the butt's fine. Light sexual assault, sexual abuse, that's fine, but extreme sexual assault, that's bad. I guess that's how they take it nowadays. I don't know. People. God.
You think he ate a lot of shit in The Martian? Minnie Driver responded by saying, you don't get to tell women that because some guy only showed them their penis, their pain isn't as great as a woman who was raped. What? This is madness.
Alright, so a guy showed you his dick, and a guy violently raped you, and you don't get to do the no? Okay. There's no distinction, there's no... And this is another thing, is like, the Me Too movement, it's... I mean, is this only against, for women? That's like, again, this whole, like, segregation of sex and segregation on gender and segregation on race. It's like, You can't claim you're fighting for equality if you only care about one gender's. You cannot claim that you are for equality when you only fight for one side.
No woman in the world, if she actually had to pick, would choose rape over merely seeing a penis. So why do we all have to pretend Minnie Driver's statement is noble and Matt Damon is crazy? We are losing the thread back to thinking itself. You know, the Declaration of Independence starts with the words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident." Self-evident. As in, some things are such obvious, indisputable no-brainers that we start from that point. Assuming we're all generally on the page that shit is measurably chemically different than Shinola.
But these SJWs, feminists alike, blah, 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 are saying that you have no right to say that there is a difference. Interesting concept. Or ideology. Interesting.
But it seems that now building blocks, basic building blocks of thought, like there are facts and things have degrees, are being tossed aside. Mike Pence and ISIS are both homophobic, but Mike doesn't throw gay men off the roof, so he's better.
Bill Maher, a pretty liberal guy, is actually saying Mike Pence is better than another person, another group. You know? Or is he Islamophobic? Is he racist because he hates religion? I don't know. It's hilarious. That whole Islamophobe stuff. It's hilarious how it's how people, the left really, mainly, SJWs like all that stuff. They pretend like Islam is a race. Oh, that's because you're only targeting brown people. No, it's if we were targeting brown people, it'd be brown people, not Islam. Well, Islam's in the middle. No, it's not in the Middle East. It's not just the Middle East. Now who's racist? It's a bunch of contradictions. Ugh.
This isn't that hard, people. This isn't that hard. I know we can do it because we do it with other stuff. Every millennial I know thinks it's ridiculous that the government lists marijuana as a Schedule I drug, along with LSD and heroin. Because it is ridiculous. Because things have degrees. There are 4 degrees of murder, 3 degrees of Burns, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
And this is how people on the right and conservatives or what have you, this is where you can actually kind of appreciate Bill Maher. Obviously, I've said this a billion times. I don't subscribe to a political party, blah, blah, blah. But it is pretty interesting how conservatives and the righties of the world will agree and with Bill Maher on some issues, and some people don't. But yeah, it's tribalism. It's bad, okay? Traveling bad, okay? It's real bad, okay? So yeah. Yeah, good. So yeah, I just hope you guys enjoyed this. The next podcast here will be about maybe Jordan Peterson a little bit. Yeah, about his Vice interview. I don't know. Maybe a little Adam Carolla commentary. I don't know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this little babble podcast here. So yeah, it was less of me and more of other people, which is what I like. What I like. You know, I need to get other people on this podcast here. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. But I'm going to go. And yeah, I'm going to go. I am done. Gonna make dinner. Do all that stuff. Go to bed. Just like you should. Alright, out.